Welcome to Yeshiva Daf Shir sponsor Lunishma Sam Yaakov Shalom Le'Abbas Yitzchok. We're holding in Sanhedrin Daf Kuf Yudalef, starting the first line on top. The more dashins L'Chenichiva Shoyul Nafsho Uparo Pio L'Blichoik. The Gehenom will open its mouth without any borders. Says the Gemara. Someone doesn't keep one mitzvah, he will get punished. Akash doesn't want you to be so strict. Someone doesn't keep one mitzvah, you have a Gehenom with no end. They make your source over here, meaning someone did not keep one mitzvah. That's what it is. The Mefarshim here are very busy to explain this machlekes. One Indian dish to mention is that one way the Mefarshim say is that this is talking about someone who was kofer completely in one mitzvah or not even one mitzvah. Meaning, according to Shlokish, the someone who completely uprooted in one mitzvah is out. According to Yechanan, no. As long as he has some mitzvah that he did, he's not going to have Gehenom with no end. That's when the Mefarshim many other explanations over here in the Sugya. We'll continue with the Pashup Shot. There will be a third that will stay in the world. And that's going to be in the time that there will be Mechamas Goy Gamagoy, Moisei Mashiach. Now Rashi brings two explanations which are a little hard to understand. I'll just mention it. That let's maybe focus on the second Shav Rashi. Shlishi Shem means a third of a third of a third of Shem. Shlishi means 3/3. Shem, the son of Noach, had 3 children. One of them was Arpachshad. From Arpachshad was a third of Shem. From them came the Yidim. Out of them, we have also Ishmael. Also, you have Ammon and Moab. You have many other nations. So a third of Shem is Arpachshad. A third of Arpachshad is, let's say, the Yidim. A third of that is only portion of the Yidim. Many of the Yidim are going to die. According to this, many of the Yidim are going to die. Not Shlish of Shem, Shlish of Noach. So you go the 3/3 we're talking about, or one generation up, which means it's a third of Noach is Shem. A third of Shem is Arpachshad. A third of Arpachshad is the Yidin. So all the Yidin will be intact. So Machlokes says, when it says the world will be destroyed, many people will die, does that include the Yidin or not? Rashi brings the first explanation a little more complicated, and according to that comes out that the Shaila is, will the Yidin, it will depend, will going fill up the amount of Yidin need to be, in other words, it's a little hard to understand. Taking for you 1 from a city and 2 from a mishpacha. There will be very few people left. Again, Shmuel doesn't like you saying this, because that means most of Am Yisrael will all die. 1 from the city saves the entire city. 2 for the mishpacha saves the entire mishpacha. So and the more goes on, so it's the same thing. It's mamish rokik sovan. Only I rav lenichol marim hasperos aki ele echol miyir mezaki kol ha'ir. Shtai mishpacha mezaki kol mishpacha is mezaki the whole city and the whole mishpacha. Now the Mefarshim will discuss if these things are connected. With the Pashup Shot, these 3 nekudas we just mentioned is: are we looking at these things in a more lenient way, or looking at it in a more severe way? And that would be a big machlokes. So you saw that Rav Soler of Kahano was washing his hair. The Torah won't be by someone who makes himself feel he's very comfortable. Give me a klala. That's maybe at the beginning he understood a little differently. The Rashi says, maybe to be more exact, in the beginning they told him, don't give me a call. He says, no. All I'm telling is, if you add in yourself, you will not have Kinyan of Torah. First we discussed that one doesn't have to wash himself And Parshat Shah means he did a little more of pleasure than usual. So it says, I'll take you to the nation and I'll bring you. We're comparing taking from Mitzrayim, coming to Eretz Yisrael. When they come to Eretz Yisrael, how many from the 600,000 came to Eretz Yisrael from the people of Mitzrayim? Only 2. Only Kalev and Yeshua. Also, when they came to Mitzrayim, there was 2 out of 600,000, which means the 600,000 people that came to Mitzrayim, or only 2 out of 600,000. Each 2 represents 600,000 that died. That's what Rashi says. And according to that, I was talking about billions and billions of people. So it's very hard to say this is the push of Shah and the Gemara, and then before I should discuss it. So that will be in time of Mashiach, and here's a beautiful Mashiach that Bias HaMashiach will be exactly a replica of Yetziat Mitzrayim. We're going to do it again and repeat it. Went once to Alexandria. Came an old man, a Mitzri, he says, let me show you what my parents did to your parents. In other words, how they tortured them. Something they drowned them. Something they killed. Something they made them bricks in the building. That's what caused Moshe Rabbeinu to become punished, to get punished. What is it? So Moshe Rabbeinu is complaining to Hashem. He says, you sent me to Pyre, and things just got worse. That's chaval. The people that, what was lost, the people that don't have anymore. I will reveal myself to Avram Yitzchak with the name Kilshakai. They didn't question me. They didn't ask my name. No, go to Eretz Yisrael, you're going to go around Eretz Yisrael. You couldn't find a place to bury the Sarat. He didn't ask, Hashem, you gave me the land. Why is it so difficult for me to buy a land? I'm giving you the land. They're looking for water, they couldn't find it. That didn't find it. He didn't ask questions. I give you the land you're sleeping on. Because we're going to he was trying to find a place to put his hand. Such economy, I can see it. He had to pay a lot of money next to Shechem. What should you ask for my name? They didn't ask for my name. What means the name? Basically, we'll be back at this in the Shomach Shom on the Daf. But the name of Kodesh Baruch Hu guarantees that the thing will happen. Moshe Rabbeinu wanted the guarantee. They didn't ask for guarantees. Now you're also complaining. You're going to see only now. You will not see in the time of Shloshim Echad Melachim, which means you won't see in when you're not going into Eretz Yisrael. That's what Kodesh Baruch Hu told him. Miriam is not going to Eretz Yisrael. You have to understand here as well. Why is this connected to this, to the fact that Moshe Rabbeinu asked for the sign? Moshe Rabbeinu saw something, and then he bowed down and he agreed to Kodesh Baruch Hu. So he saw the meat of Rechapaim. One of the deal means Rechapim. Which one did he see that caused it to bow down? So either was Rechapaim, when the Omar Emes, he saw the word Emes. So Rashi explains what do you mishtach for the one you give Shabbat? The 13 means Rachamim. Moshe Rabbeinu saw one of them and caused it to bow down. Was it Emes or Rechapaim? So, and one Mador says Emes, he says he's afraid if Am Yisrael is Chayav Kloyo, that Emes means it's Emes. You have to stand up Emes. So they're going to die. That's why he bowed down to David HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But Al Mador says Sorry Rechapaim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Marichaf. So why is he bowing down? Explain the Gemara. Tani Kevador Rechapaim wrote the Tani Kesheolo Moshe Lamor. Moshe Rabbeinu goes to Shemaim. He saw writing down the name Rechapaim. Oh, brother, Shloilo, Rechapaim, it's Tzadikim. Rechapaim, you might have to, it's Tzadikim. I'm going to have to show him. I might have to show him too. I'm going to show him Yuveidu. Let them die. I'm going to ask the Chos, his Maidin Bailach. Let's see what's going to happen later. Because Shechot to Yisrael, obviously did Chet Egel, Didn't you tell me Tzadikim not Rishayim? They're Rishayim right now. I'm not giving Baruch after them. Says the more in the Kufyan on base, Amal the Forim Shleim Lokach Ali after Rishayim. Like you said, Hashem, you are right. You're the one. You told me that he asked me the Rishayim too. That's what the Rishayim is buying down. Please keep what you said to the Rishayim. Was going in the steps to be Rabbi Bashilo. Shamilo, you look at over here, this child saying, Hashem lo yichyomim, so michlei tefillah l'Moshe. So Oyich Yom is Lashon Echapayim. Arichus. It says tefillah l'Moshe. Then Moshe Rabbeinu agreed to this. That's what he saw, and that was the discussion. So was Moshe Rabbeinu afraid to meet the Sadin, or after Moshe Rabbeinu was he wanted to say that the Midas Haragli should be to where Kadosh Baruch Hu revealed it originally. Baruch was going to be a crown on the end of each side. Shenemar be'emu yashem tzvogaz later tzvi uletzviras tiforo l'sher amoy. Will be a crown. People do and they're waiting for the Yeshua. Maybe it's for everybody. All of them, even in Balagaivo. Someone was on Onof. Or the Ruach Mishpat, the Yeshiva Lamishpat. Or the Gevurah Mishpat, Milchom Shara. The Ruach Mishpat Zah Roy the Yesitzus. So is Gaber is Yetzer. Or the Yeshpat Zah Dan Din Emes Amitot. Or the Gevurah Zah is Gaber Yitzroy. Mishmilchom was the Shenoisem Venoisem V'Milchamto Shotoyro. Shara. Yes, Mashkim might be the Kisser, but the Midrashites, they go to learn, they go morning and evening. Only does the Yakush Bog, Mishlam Maishtan, why are you giving them more than others? I want to love Gamel, Bayan Shog, we should have told also drink wine. Book of Belil Bain Pukal Ganem, send it to Ganem, Shema Lotiek, Zois Lechol the Fuko, Bain Plil de Yon Shema Nosan Plilim. So he says, right? So the Pashup Shah, when you came to this Gora, is that we're staying with the time. It says that they should be going together. It's not fair. Right? Because they also did the wrong thing. They should also go together in the same way like the other ones. Right? So here we have the other way to understand it. So he says, so in other words, the one way to understand is the Midas Sadin is saying why some tzaddikim do get it, some tzaddikim don't get it. Because Rule says because some tzaddikim did something wrong. So even though they both look like tzaddikim, only some tzaddikim will get it. Okay. So now just the Gabi Torah Berish Tzaddik here comes in what we discussed earlier in the Perek, Machlokes the Rambam and the Ravid. What is going to be the way tzaddikim lost love? The Rambam learns it's going to be only in the Shema. The Neder Mizir Shechino, because that's that Torah Berish Tzaddik. Meaning they don't have a guf. That's part of Torah Tzaddik. And the Ravid says no, it's with the guf. And that's the Machlokes that they come to with the gufim or not. And the whole discussion that we had originally spoke about it in the beginning of this period. So the Mishnah. They don't go to the Labo Shem. So it says that they go mikibech, they left, they went mikibech, they don't chek labo. According to some of Farshim, we saw in the beginning of the parak, this is the reason we bring this whole parak, is to get the Erin Dachas and to say the Din Erin Dachas. Says the Gemara, the Medichi have to be from the same city. From the same tribe. Until most of the city is Mudach. Has to be men. If the ones that made them go to do over the Zara, or women and children, or she was not the word, it was only a mute. Or she the Medichi from outside, a real Kichidim. So then you didn't treat them like Yechidim. We'll see later, they get skilo. Not Saif. They have to have 2 Eidim and a straw for each one. Zechoyer be'echidim mi'berubim. She'echidim b'skilo. They get more important. They get the more chamodik misa, but then the money is saved. Now the Rubim decide they die with sword, and that's why they lose the money. So it says that's Yeshua Azois. What happens there? They also Yeshua, we'll see in the Gemara, they become part of Yeshua. And therefore, if they are not doing it with the Zohar, and they make the people that are not doing it with the Zohar the majority, so they will save the city from being destroyed. So the regard things with the Shinemar, and that's clear from Rashi. Because it says Kol Shabbat, including Nichse Tzadikim, even though the Tzadikim don't die, but the properties that they have in the city do get burned. But whatever tzaddikim have outside, plating, that's saved. Rishoyim inside or outside all get destroyed, and that will see the Gemara the Losh Shana, you know that. If there's no street, no town center, you have to make it. If it's outside of the city, you have to extend the city and bring them into it. So now, again, the Chur Shemar is wrong over here. Has to be their property, the property of Hashem. Whatever's Hegdesh, you redeem it. You let it rot. Why? Because we'll see that belongs to the Kohen. We'll talk about it in the Gemara. Because that Kohen is Shigon, so you put in the Gnizo. So if you do the right thing, Kalil. The course Kalil. What is it? It has to be completely destroyed. We can't build the way it was before. You don't know what to build it as a city, but you couldn't make it into fields and orchards. So, just to be clear in the Gemara over here, there's two parts. The Gemara speaks about the Mishnah. So, the Gdeishois are the ones that have to be redeemed, they have to do the other things. Then you have the Dibiyani Dachas. So, I'm going to make it color, it will be a color, right? As if you did an oil of Shakadosh Baruch. And then, the Mishnah Dashans, you have to keep it destroyed. Don't have anything by you, because while you have Rishis in the Oilom, there's still anger. All the Rishon, once they're gone, it includes all the property. It's not Chonab in Oilom, that's why it has to be don't have nothing left from them. So the Gemara. It has to be them and not messengers that are coming. Right? In other words, if they send a messenger, it doesn't work. Anoshim and Anoshim Bochel Mishtayim. Dorach Anoshim below Anoshim, not women. Anoshim below Ketayim, not children. Maybe Al Bodim Sheporku Oil Me'al Shamayim Al Shamayim Al Tzavarim. Meaning they should tell you that's what they are. It wasn't not Joshua what they have to be. Mekir Bech L'Chura. Mekir Becha Veloim Nasfai. Not people who live here. You can't make Yeridachas on the border. You can't destroy a city on the border. Yeshvi Irim Velo Yeshvi Acheres has to be people from the city. Le'amosh Etzchim Eidim V'Asrol L'Kolech L'Echol. You have to have 80 for each one. So when you talk about is it possible that one city will be inhabited by two different shvatim? So Rabbi Yochanan says yes. You can't divide two shvatim. Question: has to be the medichim from the same city, from the same shevet, even the same shevet. Isn't all the people in the same city from the same shevet? My love, you see over here that one thing can be two shvatim. So we say that the medichim and the nidachim have to be the same shevet. So the Gemara, Lord, enough for Lebi Rusho. Talk about the city really is only one shevet. It happens to be there's one person from another shevet over here because he inherited it from his grandfather, from his maternal grandfather. He got as a gift. It says the Gemara. It says Orin Shamois. There's 900 cities. Two shvatim took the 900 cities. Sorry, I said Shabbos. Arim Teisha Mei Shia Shvatim came. There was a donation. Then two shvatim gave 9 cities to the Kohanim and the Levim. So it was 9 came from 2 cities, for 2 shvatim. Ma'alav Abu Plagamai, Var Plagamai was a 4.5 from each. So you see, they each one had half a city. Shani Cholki Me'achaz Bet Shvotim. So here you do divide it. So well, loy. No, one gave 4, one gave 5. Together was 9. Yachi the Perushe. So explain it. Say 4 from there. You just say it was 9 for 2. I don't know how to divide it. Same way you're right, it could be based on Daf Kasha. So it says Rash, not a Tiyufta. Kasha. And the Psukim should have been a little more clear. So we buy the what happens if there was nobody who came and convinced them? They just on their own decided to do over the Zohar. Does that have to be someone going and persuading them to do over the Zohar? Or maybe if they did it on their own. Said the children or woman persuaded them, it doesn't work. Why don't you consider this like they did it on their own? So greedy. Actually, the greed is loshon grido, which means it's loshon like reiro. It's like being pulled. Meaning what? When they're convincing themselves, that means they're very, very connected to it. They're real Rishonim. When someone else persuades them, maybe they're not as convinced. So you can say this: if men convince them, they're chayav. Women and children not. If it's on their own, it's worse. So that's why on their own they'll be punished, but not in women and children. The fact that women and children don't make them hanitachas doesn't mean on their own they won't be ir hanitachas. Obviously, there's a lot more to talk about here, and there's so much rain on this ir hanitachas. We're sticking here to the pshat. Have a wonderful day. Be'ez Hashem will continue from here in the next half.